Here.
Member Alan Calloway.
Here.
Police Chief Don Combs.
Here.
Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine.
Here.
EMS Director Bobby Mills.
Here.
City Attorney Del Weldon.
Here.
Utility Director Olin Clausen.
Present.
President Kelly Milan.
Here.
And myself.
All right, any announcements? I don't have anything for you guys unless you got something. If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting. Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. Committee reports. Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine.
I passed out run totals for February. We're up quite a bit for the month, but that also reflects that we've been out a lot of water details past couple of weeks. So, if anybody has any questions, just let me know.
Okay. Police Chief Donnie Combs.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want the board to know one of our police officers was involved in an accident last Friday. Another car came over his lane and hit him. Everybody's okay. He was actually going to another call for another accident, and somebody came over on him. Like I said, he was okay. The car wasn't damaged all that much. We're getting everything in order. We'll get estimates as soon as we can, get the report. Just want you to be aware of that. And one of our K-9 officers is going away for about 10 to 12 days, and then other K-9 officer is watching that dog, so that's not going to cost us. That's all I have, Mayor.
All right. EMS Director Bobby Mills.
Yeah, Mayor, the statistics for January and February have been passed out. If you have any questions.
Okay. Thank you. New business. What I'd like to do tonight is get a motion to approve the pool manager for the 2018 pool season. That recommendation is D.D. Abbott. So I'd like to get a motion to do that.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. Then we got one that we need to do tonight. Mr. Weldon, you have the EMS interlocal with the county.
Yes, sir, Your Honor. If it pleases the Board of Works, I would just ask for permission to execute the 2018 contract for emergency medical services. This is a joint venture with Dearborn County. They pay us for 2 units annually to provide emergency medical services. This is a contract that we'll actually execute. Mr. Mills, as Director of EMS, will sign that, and I've spoken with Sue Hayden at the county, and they're ready to approve this. So just need a vote to approve the contract.
Okay. Any questions? Entertain a motion to approve the interlocal with the county. Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. I have no other new business tonight. Old business, got Mr. Clark quote award on the 2018 asphalt patch and repair.
Thank you, Your Honor. And also, I was given 2 quotes by the city superintendent that he'd like to get these open tonight also. But first order of business, I did include a tabulation sheet and the quotes that we received at the last meeting. Same score sheet that I've used the last probably 3 or 4 years. And it's very evident that the pricing from Paul H. Rowe Company is the best. Therefore, I would recommend that this board award that contract to Paul H. Rowe Company.
Okay. Any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the 2018 asphalt patch and repair award to Paul H. Rowe Company.
So moved.
Second? All those in favor? Opposed? And that motion will carry. I have no other old business for Board of Works.
Your Honor?
Yes? I'm sorry.
Could I go ahead and open these?
Go ahead. What's these for?
And I'm not positive, but it says George Street Park.
I believe it's a shelter repair.
Okay. All right.
And this quote is from Mike Knoll Construction. And he has a total material and labor cost of $2,750. And the next quote is from Staub Construction. That quote is for $2,820. I'm not sure on the particulars, but I would recommend that we go with the low price on this of $2,750 from Knoll Construction.
Questions from you guys?
I guess my question would be is I'm glad, but do we have, every time these guys want to do a small project like this, is there a better way for them to do it? Or could we possibly okay a
maximum
$50,000 budget for a quarter?
We're working on a purchasing agent plan right now to put in front of the mayor and to the, to legal, to allow that to happen, which would come back for the board to vote on.
But, yeah, we would need an ordinance in place to not go through the formal bid or quote process.
Because I hate to, if we're gonna get in that maintenance mode and we're really gonna
small
do some of
project.
this stuff, I would hate because that you gotta come to a meeting every 2 weeks that we might not get as much done as we can this year. So, yeah, I'm all for this. I wanna, let staff go ahead with what they're doing, but if there's a better way that we can get things a little busier, I'd be all for that too.
Well, we'll deal with that, Paul. We're gonna have to,
Okay.
we'll figure out a way to streamline that, yes.
All right.
Okay. So the motion on the floor is to accept the bid of $2,750 from Mike Knoll Construction. Paul, you made the motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. Thanks, Mike.
All right, thank you.
All right. No other old business?
Hold on just a second. I just
Yes.
got one question for Police Chief here. Did you check into some of the other surrounding municipalities, Milan and stuff for the dash cam?
I did, absolutely. Dillsboro will be one of them. I haven't got a hold of yet, but I've got a hold of Sunman, actually. They only have like one officer there and no cameras. And I think Greendale still is wanting 2 of them, so I'm getting hold of the smaller police departments who doesn't have much. So, yeah, it's going to be spread around.
That's great. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Mooch. Anything else? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the claims.
I've got a question on the claims.
All right.
I'm okay with everything in there except the demo job. I do not want to approve that one. I would like for our staff to go back and if there's any type of credit that could be got, when we put out a contract, I want the whole thing done. Or I want to vote for everything else, but that's the only one I've got a problem with.
Which line, is there a line item on that, Paul?
Page 17,
823.
823.
Line item 823. All right.
Is that Wayne Construction?
But you know, you guys got to vote, so that's.
I'd like to make a motion, Mayor, that we pass this on to City Council for a vote.
Well, it wouldn't go that route. It would, we can approve the claims and exclude line item 823 for review. So that's probably the way we should do it. We want to approve the claims from Board of Works, all right?
Yeah.
You just want to exclude the line item 823 because you want it reviewed.
That's my personal preference.
Okay, so that's the motion you're making.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
Okay, second? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. Thanks, guys. Get that checked out. Need a motion to adjourn. Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion will carry. Thank you. All right, we will have the Parks and Playgrounds as soon as we're seated. Okay, Mr. Richardson, can you get us a roll call, please? I'd like to call the order of the Lawrenceburg Parks and Playgrounds for March 5th, 2018.
Member Tony Abbott.
Here.
Member Aaron Cook.
Here.
Member Mel Davis.
Here.
Member Randy Abner.
Here.
Member Paul Seymour Jr.
Here.
City Attorney Del Weldon.
Here.
Utility Director Olin Clausen.
Present.
President Kelly Milan.
Here.
And myself.
All right. Any announcements? I have none for this meeting. If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. New business. First item I have is EC Alumni Party. I was approached by a gentleman, and he's putting on a East Central Alumni Party. It's going to span, I think, 8 years of graduating folks. And they've outgrown the rest of the venues, and they wanted to use the fairgrounds, specifically the cattle barn area, the big covered facility. Chances are, when I talked to him, he had all of his ducks in a row. We've also talked with to make sure Agner Hall wasn't rented. The race schedule with Kim Rudisell and Dave over there, there's no conflict there. And also we wanted to make sure that there wasn't going to be an antique market day over there on Sunday. So it seems to be free. It's for the date of, let me see here. I don't see the date. Oh, September 22nd, 2018. So, and what it would be just they would have to, I told them that they would have to consult with police chief, since there would be alcohol involved. They're going to have a band from, I believe, 9 to midnight. But they had to shut it off at midnight. Oh, one other thing, and the best thing. It's a not-for-profit event, and they've offered to any proceeds that they clear, any profit, they've offered to send it to any charity of our choice. So we don't have to make that decision tonight. We can decide on the charity if you guys so approve this. But that's the offer out there. They're going to have a band. I think Mr. Deddens from Skyline Chili is going to have some chili out there, and in fact, I think you guys can probably go over there if you want. I don't think they're even. Anyway, any questions? You guys have any questions?
I think we might want to include the fire and EMS over there with that. We have multiple people over there that might want to be involved in that too.
They're more than sake. That's. I'm all about that. You're right.
Involved.
There's chili involved, so.
Kelly, can
Yes,
we,
sir?
instead of naming one charity, could we put their donation in the whole fund and then maybe up the ante a little bit?
I'm perfectly fine with that, and that's probably a great idea. That'll affect a multitude of
few of them.
a multitude of charities that way. Yeah, nonprofits. Yeah, good idea.
Mayor, how is this any different than any other nonprofit that wants it for free and we tell them no?
Well, we can charge a rental fee. I don't think we've ever done that for the. I don't know if does our street gang party get charged a rental over there for that cattle barn?
We charge them the nonprofit rate for Agner, which is $50 for the $200 deposit.
We can do the same thing.
I just want to keep it fair is all.
Oh yeah, heck yeah, yeah. Good point, Aaron. Yeah, we can make sure that happens. They're good with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions, guys? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the request for September 22nd, 2018.
With the same thing as Brittany said over there?
Yes,
Okay.
with the same thing, with, the charge would be the same as as we do with the Arch Street gang, ASG. Yeah. Yeah. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Moved, okay. Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. How about if we get a motion then to approve where the funds would go then? If you guys have any other options besides what Mr. Seymour brought up?
No, that's fine with me.
Covers all of them then. That's not a bad idea. All right, I'll entertain a motion then to send any proceeds from the EC alumni party to our current donation committee.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. Thank you. All right, the next one is ASG, Arch Street Gang Foundation, Easter egg hunt and breakfast on March 24th at the Little League fields. They're asking for permission to utilize the Little League fields for their Easter egg hunt. Hopefully it's dry. A little bit. Questions? Can I get a motion?
So move.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Any other new business for parks and playgrounds, guys?
Hey, I have one thing, Mayor.
right.
I guess by one of the shelters at the dog park, the water runs off at one of the corners, and I guess there's a pretty big hole there where the water always ponds, a lot of times, and it stays muddy.
At the dog park?
Yeah, I don't know which shelter, but one of the shelters.
Dog park ponding issue, huh? Okay. Right next to the shelter?
Yeah, right. I guess the water runs off one area specifically. I don't know slanted that way or what, but there's a dip there where water stays pretty puddled a lot of times during the year, and the dogs get all muddy. And
All right. We'll take care of that. All right. Anything else? Anything else under new business? Anything old business? All right. If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the claims.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. All right. Next item up for, oh, I'm sorry. I'd like to call to order the Lawrenceburg Utility Board for March 5th, 2018. Could I get a roll call, please?
Member Tony Abbott.
Here.
Member Aaron Cook.
Here.
Member Mel Davis.
Here.
Member Randy Abner.
Here.
Member Paul Seymour Jr.
Here.
City Attorney Del Weldon.
Here.
Utility Director Olin Clausen.
Present.
President Kelly Milan.
Here.
And myself.
All right. Any announcements?
No, Your Honor. I'll cover what I've got under committee reports.
Okay. If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Committee reports.
Thank you, Your Honor. If the board recalls, I sent an email out over the weekend talking about one of the walls down at the Front Street property, 106 Front Street. I went and took a look at that. Mr. Seymour looked at it. I believe we're probably going to have to remove that block wall, install a French drain of some sort or some kind of a footer drain along that perimeter of that, and then either relay the brick wall or pour a concrete wall back in place. That retaining wall is starting to lean out, and I don't think we're going to be able to get it back. It appears like it's been happening over a number of years. I think it just kind of was exacerbated with the recent flooding and all the water that was coming into that space. So we haven't really had a chance to dig in it too deeply yet. I'd like to meet with probably the city foreman, look at it, get his opinion on it.
Okay.
and then come back to you all at some time in the future and give you what our recommendation is to move forward.
All right. It probably needs to be done sooner than later, though, right?
I don't think it's going to go anywhere fast, but
Okay.
it's something we certainly need to. We're putting a lot of money into that in terms of the data center, and so it's just something that we need to clean up and address. And there are people who are going to be in and around that wall and in close proximity to it. If it were to move or to collapse, it would put them at risk. So.
Okay. All right. So you'll report back on?
I will.
Thank you.
Want to give an update on the Whiskey City Rodeo. Currently, we have got 2 title sponsorship positions that will be in excess of $20,000. One of those has been taken. We're in negotiations with the second. We've got a host sponsorship, which the city has been gracious enough to step into and take that host sponsorship position. We've got 3 other title sponsors or event sponsorships that are $15,000 apiece. 2 of those have been taken. So we're well on our way to exceeding what we hoped that we would in terms of sponsorships for the rodeo, for the Lyman Rodeo and the rodeo event. We also, on the suggestion of Mooch Callaway, we are going to be reaching out to all the schools in Dearborn County and Switzerland County and out at Milan and in the Tri-States area to invite those students to come down both on Friday and Saturday to participate in our career fair.
Good.
We've also been talking with all the trades to have the trades there, the educational institutions there, to have booths within our event so that these kids can talk to them about welding, pipe fitting, boiler making, journeyman lineman, all the different trades. That has actually been one of the things that, and I appreciate Mooch suggesting that, because that's been one of the things that have gotten these other organizations so excited about participating, is they see a lot of value in that, in having these kids come and be able to participate and do those kinds of things. Also, on the rodeo portion of the event, the professional bull riding piece, we have gotten commitments from J.W. Harris, Sage Kimsey, and Cody Jesus. Out of the 5, we've gotten 3 commitments. We anticipate to have the other 2 commitments wrapped up before the end of this week. So once
You're a fill-in, though, right?
Yeah, I'm a fill-in. Yeah.
Huh?
Oh yeah.
I heard you and Mr. Abbott were going to be the fill-ins if
right after the mayor's ride.
Yeah. They don't want me on that thing. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You know, I haven't got my 25 cents back from the one out front of Walmart, so I don't know.
That threw you off.
Yeah. That bucked you off, huh?
There's a couple other things that we are considering purchasing. One of those is a 100 by 80 foot tent, an enclosed tent that has the ability for air conditioning and heating. I've talked with a few of you about that. We believe that we could use that for other events, the Queen City Bicycle Race, the Regatta Race. We could also use that during times like the recent flooding. We could use that for people to come and to some type of an emergency shelter for people to use it for those purposes. So I think that we'll have a multitude of uses for it. We're getting pricing for that. I'll bring that back to the Utility Service Board for you guys to review, comment on, and that's really all I've got for this evening.
Okay. Any new business?
No, Your Honor.
Old business?
No, sir.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to review or to approve the claims.
Moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. A motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. Call to order the City of Lawrenceburg Common Council meeting, March 5th, 2018. Everybody rise for the pledge, please. Got to rise in this room. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You guys are pretty good in harmony there. You know that, right? This many people in here, we ought to break out in song or something. I don't know. All right. I'd like to get a roll call, please.
Councilperson Tony Abbott.
Here.
Councilperson Aaron Cook.
Here.
Councilperson Mel Davis.
Here.
Councilperson Randy Abner.
Here.
Councilperson Paul Seymour Jr.
Here.
Police Chief Don Combs.
Here.
Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine.
Here.
EMS Director Bobby Mills.
Here.
City Attorney Del Weldon.
Here.
Utility Director Olin Clausen.
Present.
Mayor Kelly Milan.
Here.
And myself.
All right. Announcements, board reports, streets, alleys, and curbs, Mr. Cook?
No report, Mayor. I was going to bring up the 3rd Street sign getting knocked down, but I see it's been put back up. So that's all I had.
Good. All right, finance, Tony Abbott?
We're good, except for the one that Mr. Seymour mentioned. We need to strike it.
Okay.
Page 17, 823.
823, yes, thank you.
Other than that, everything's fine.
All right, thank you. Parks and Playgrounds, Mr. Seymour Jr.?
Nothing.
Fire, Randy Abner?
I got instructed that the Weeblos came down, packed 604, visited the firehouse, was last week, and they went through some CPR, first aid, and I think they got some badges on that. Is that what it was, John?
They had earned their first aid badge, so they wanted to come down and compare it to what they learned to what we do. And Director Mills and I got our staff together and showed them basic CPR all the way up to advanced airways.
The new equipment that you purchased here.
Even the Lucas.
Right. For one inch.
Good deal.
That's a great deal.
Good deal. All right. All right, thanks. That's good stuff, guys. I got a couple things here I need to bring up under announcements. Yesterday, had the privilege to represent Lawrenceburg in a presentation to Nick Gepper. I'm sure everybody in here probably has heard of Nick Gepper by now, I hope. But he was a silver medalist this year in freestyle slopestyle skiing. Did I say that right? I hope. Yep. But anyway, he was very. What we did for as a city is we gave him same thing we did for Mr. Mason Paris a couple years ago when he first started winning all of his state titles. But at the geographic entrances, the borders of our city where we have the signs, there will be a sign there that says Home of Nick Gepper and lists his accomplishments, just like we did for JR, Todd, and for Mason and others. And we gave him a framed, smaller replica of those signs yesterday on behalf of the city. So it was sort of put together pretty quickly. He was only in town, I think, for the weekend. I think he went up to the State House today and got recognized, and then was flying out to Europe, I think. But he was very appreciative. He represents our area, and I couldn't say enough good things about the young man. Wanted to address a little bit about what's going on with our local schools with school safety. Myself, Chief Combs, Assistant Chief Snyder have been talking with Superintendent Gailey on what can we do in addition to what they've already done. They've done a lot over at our schools in the last 4 or 5 years regarding school safety. Of course, everybody knows you can't guard against every what-if scenario, but there's more that we can do, and there's going to be some things done. Currently, the city of Lawrenceburg pays for one resource officer for the corporation. They're looking at right now the school system gets a school safety grant, and they're looking at using those funds to be able to have 3 additional resource officers, 1 in each building. Every day the kids are in session, so every building will be have an armed police officer. But in addition to that, we are meeting with vendors to look at detection type technology. I know that Shelbyville, Indiana, has been they've had it since 2014, I think, and they've been revered as one of the safest school systems in around. It's been on the news and everything. So we're talking with the vendors that help them out. I've talked with Mr. McCarter down here at the Dearborn County Community Foundation to give him a heads up that there may be some grant requests coming, and they are 100% behind it, and they will do whatever we need them to do. So you'll be hearing more about that. We'll be bringing things to you guys, options or whatever. And if because I told them that if we can help, we want to help, and I know this group will do the right things. So anyway, that's where we stand on that. Let me see. I'll make this other one for new business. So that's all the announcements I have. If anyone up here got an announcement? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Committee reports, Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine.
All I have is, everybody should have a copy of the February run totals. If you have any questions, let me know.
All right. Police Chief Donnie Combs.
Thank you, Mayor. I sent 5 regular officers and 3 or 4 reserve officers to the crisis intervention team training the past 5 weeks, and they've completed that last Friday. They had their graduation. That is in association with NAMI, the mental health group. So they went through that, and they all completed this training successfully. I'm in the process now working with Mark Canega, race and getting the proper paperwork completed, so we can get that started. That's going to be in June 16th, I believe. That's going to be. So that's going on. We are also hosting again this year a altogether mandate training for all of us in the surrounding police agencies. We have about 50 or 60 police officers come down to this training. These people from Indianapolis come down and they do all of our mandate training all at one time. I contacted Chief Tremaine to use the training room again in there since we have a large group, and we have that secured for that. We also have our annual bank meeting with all the local banks around. That's coming up next week. And we just get together, everybody gets on the same page. All of the employees like that. That's all I have, Mayor.
All righty. EMS Director Bobby Mills.
The council be aware of the run totals for January, February in front of them.
Okay. All right. All right. New business. Y'all we got an estimate on the clerk treasurer's office security plan. That is an estimate to enclose the front of that after you get inside the building to protect the young ladies and our clerk treasurer here in case of any kind of an issue. Did you guys have a copy of that?
Your Honor, I have copies. I think they wanted to keep it somewhat confidential what level it was.
Oh, okay.
We think have these back.
Oh, the level. Okay, I got you. That. Yeah. As you're looking at this, I want you to consider an addition to this that Mr. Richardson made me aware of right before the meeting. The 4 exterior windows on the clerk treasurer's building. There's also a need to put some. It's some kind of a film.
Yeah, it's a basic security safety film that goes on the window. I got an estimate for it today. It would be around $700 to do all 4 of those windows. Basically, the guy told me it's not rated to withhold a gun per se, but he said if somebody were to beat that window down with a sledgehammer, you'd be 5 blocks away before anybody ever got in.
He doesn't know how slow I run, does he?
No. You'll be okay, Kelly.
Okay. No, thank you. So anyway, in addition to this estimate would be another potential $700. I'll give you time to look through this a little bit because just receiving it tonight. Any questions? Any questions, guys?
How many prices we got?
We only had one responsive out of three.
Out of
Three.
three.
Any other questions? So the total on this, if there's no other questions, the total on this particular bid was $13,416 from Staub Construction.
Correct.
But as I said, I would like the motion to include the additional up to $700 for the four windows on the outside. So I'll entertain a motion to approve this.
That'd be 14,116 then?
Your math's pretty good. Yes, sir.
I'll make the motion, go ahead and do it. It's probably long overdue.
All right, second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. Thank you.
Those two.
Next thing you have is the donation committee recommendations for February. One thing I want to bring your attention to is on the second one, it says Special Olympics Polar Plunge for sales. That is a typo. That was last year. We approved that last month. It should be the Tri-Kappa Springo event is what they're approving there. So change that to the Tri-Kappa Springo event. So if there's any questions, I'll entertain that right now. If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Any other new business? I have none, unless you all do. Under old business, we got Mr. Weldon, you got the Hag Ford agreement?
Yes, sir, Your Honor. Thank you. And if it pleases the council, what you have in your packets is the most recent iteration of what's called an agreement, but it's really not. I mean, this is a kind of a one-sided document. The original intent of the project was to develop a way to, first of all, protect our interests over at the Lawrenceburg Speedway, make sure that whatever we do in regard to allowing Hag Ford to get some additional space when needed, and correct a safety issue, which we viewed as a pretty significant safety issue with cars turning in from Route 50. But we wanted to protect, first and foremost, the Speedway, the 4-H events that go on there, and the antique show. I was able to meet with Kimberly Rudisell, and she indicated that she is in agreement with this proposal and that she works very well with Cheryl Hag and everyone at Hag Ford. So what this document does is it makes it very clear that, first of all, Hag Ford has permission to build according to the specs that are attached, which would be essentially an access road and a staircase that connect the two parcels. But the creation or the construction of those items do not create any kind of property interest now or in the future, which I think is very important. It also includes a hold harmless indemnification clause should any injuries or things like that occur on the property based on their use. It also gives us the option to request, and they have to honor that request. They remove their cars if there are any events that maybe we didn't contemplate. And then if this relationship should ever end for whatever reason, and they are no longer granted permission to use the property of the city, that they couldn't, the improvements that they made become part of our property and attach and can't be removed. So I'm really satisfied with this version of the document, and we've gone back and forth. I've gotten input from most of you guys, and just asking for a vote to approve this, and then I'll meet with Hag Ford.
Questions? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agreement, Hag Ford agreement, as known.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed?
No.
All right. Can I get a roll call, please?
Councilperson Tony Abbott,
Yes.
Councilperson Aaron Cook,
Yes.
Councilperson Mel Davis,
Yes.
Councilperson Randy Abner,
Yes.
Councilperson Paul Seymour Jr.
No.
Okay, motion will pass 4-1. Thank you. Next item, there's one that we had forgot to add, guys, from the last meeting. It's just we got to do the third and final, or the final reading of the additional appropriations.
Thank you, Your Honor. If it pleases the council, I would now do the final reading of the additional appropriations ordinance and then ask for a vote. This is City of Lawrenceburg, Indiana, additional appropriation ordinance 4-2018. Whereas it has been determined now necessary to appropriate more money than was originally appropriated in the annual budget, now therefore be it ordained by the City of Lawrenceburg, Dearborn County, that for the expenses of the taxing unit, the following additional sums of money are hereby appropriated out of the funds named and for the purposes specified, subject to laws governing the same. And you'll see that the fund name is Riverboat, major budget classification, personal services, amount requested $93,630. Total 93,630 and total additional appropriations 9630.
Questions? Now I'll entertain a motion to approve the final reading of the additional appropriations. It was 4-2018. Sorry, Mel.
Just a second, Mayor. What all does that include? Because
that's the pool and the.
Okay, so it is all of them still.
Yes.
Okay, so I have to abstain from
Well,
that
Your
one.
Honor, and I apologize. This isn't. This doesn't match up exactly with the salary amendment. And I'm seeing Brittany nod her head. Brittany and I were able to meet before the meeting. It does not include the pool appropriation. So I did too. So I should have stated that when I read the ordinance. So, Mr. Abbott, you wouldn't have to abstain.
All right. It's just for the salary and perf? Okay. And taxes? Okay. All right. Sorry, Tony.
All righty.
Motion on the floor.
Okay, the motion is to approve the additional appropriations document 4-2018. I need a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Can I get a roll call, please?
Councilperson Tony Abbott,
Aye.
Councilperson Aaron Cook,
Nay.
Councilperson Mel Davis,
Yes.
Councilperson Randy Abner,
Yes.
Councilperson Paul Seymour Jr.
Yes.
Okay, it'll pass 4-1. Guys, I'd like to back up. I've got one that I told you I wanted to move from announcements down to new business. I had a request from Mr. Casey Kaniga, is the president of the Home Builders Association, and they are, not only are they doing their home and garden, I guess, event up here at the event center in a couple weeks or so, weekends, but they're getting ready to start up a trades program where they're going to start going working with high school age kids to see if they can get them interested in building homes. Hopefully the market's coming back pretty good, but it's just another option for our kids to a route to go, and if it's not a traditional college route or whatever they choose to do. What they're asking for is a $5,000 not a donation but a request for partnership with in conjunction with this program with the Home Builders Association. So I told them I would bring it up. I got asked about it too late to get it on your agenda. So I entertain some questions if you have them.
I have one.
Yes, sir.
Would this be to establish an apprenticeship program or just conversation?
I think it's more of going in and identifying if kids, if they want to get into the trades of home building and landscaping and landscape architecture or whatever, that's the kind of program they're going to do. I don't think it's going to be a full-blown apprenticeship program, Mel, but I guess it could get into that. This is just a starting program is what I've been told. I don't know that it's going to be an annual thing for them to sort of startup money to help with theirs. Hope that answered it.
Yes.
Any other questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve the $5,000 investment in the Home Builders Association.
Moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. Thanks, guys. Sorry it was added. All right. Next item on the agenda. First off, I will entertain comments from the audience regarding any agenda item that was spoken about tonight. Come on now.
I got one thing, Mayor. It's not
Yes.
it wasn't really spoken about, but it has to do with Connecticut. Reminded me of it. The car wash on Tate Street is no longer functional, and people come in there and they drop their garbage in the stalls, and it stays in there sometimes for weeks at a time. I was wondering if the city could do anything about that. When I drive by there a lot of times on the way to work, there's garbage pile lined up against the walls in there a lot of time.
Yeah, we can have them go over and check it and pick it up.
Okay.
Your Honor, who owns that?
I believe Tim Kanega.
Who?
Tim Kanega, is that?
Well, then Tim ought to go in there and clean his property.
Well, and that was going to be my first call, but I just, the city will
Fence up or something.
We want to keep it clean too.
Put a fence
we
up
will.
or something, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, a good point, Mel. Good point. Make myself a note here. All right. Any other items from the agenda? Okay. I know most of you are not here. Yes, I'm sorry. Come on in, sir.
Sir, could you take the podium, please?
I'm sorry. Yeah, that way it'll be recorded.
Thank you.
Especially, we like positive comments.
Yeah, I was waiting to hear what you said first.
My name is Jerry Bashirs. I'm a resident of Lawrenceburg, Hidden Valley. And I'd just like to commend the city and the police department for spending the time, taking the initiative, spending the money to get 7 officers total trained in crisis intervention. This, for people here that don't know, the focus here is primarily on how to deal with mentally ill individuals who are in crisis, and their family has called the police, or someone in the neighborhood has called the police, and too often I think we've seen on the news where these things turn into tragedy.
Yes, sir.
And the simple fact is it boils down primarily to the training. And so I commend the city on taking the initiative to do this.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Anyone else? I know, like I said, most of you, I'm sure, that weren't here because you've seen the pool manager job on the agenda. And I don't mean to make light of this statement, but what I'd like to address is the fly ash situation. Number one, I believe that if I took a poll, everybody in this room is on the same team on this. Okay? I can tell you the facts as I know them right now, and the facts are there's a landfill that's located to our west on the property. Okay? There's a couple large ash ponds. They all three need to be filled and capped in order for anybody to be able to do anything with that property. Okay? The landfill was actually approved back in 2008 by IDEM. It's an approved landfill. So it's got all the monitoring systems, the same with the ash ponds, to monitor groundwater, things like that at this point. Okay? Like I said, I'm just stating the facts here as we know them. The other thing is last Thursday, we were in Indianapolis for three other meetings, and I called back and had Carrie see if she could get us a meeting at IDEM. They were gracious enough to meet with us Thursday afternoon. We met with them at 2:30. Had all the right people in the room. We had the decision maker in the room. She was very, very generous with her time. She listened to every one of our concerns, and those concerns being, I don't think we need to be taking anybody's, I call it hazardous waste, especially from another state, into our backyard. Number one. Number two is, we're a huge cheerleader for this port. Everybody's heard me talk about it. We know the benefits long term for our kids and grandkids, and I still stand behind that. And what I want everybody to know is the only decision maker in this permitting process is IDEM right now concerning the landfill. Okay, Army Corps of Engineers permit is a separate animal. Okay, the Army Corps of Engineers permit is just to build a unloading facility on the river for barges. Okay, it could be for fly ash or it could be for dirt. All right, but in this particular case, it's for the fly ash. But the IDEM permit that we are adamantly speaking out on is for actually it's a permit modification to the current permit. Okay, and they're calling it a minor modification. Okay, that's IDEM's terms. Simply because it's an approved landfill. They had the permit. When they initially got the permit, they were asked the question, will you be using any outside sources to fill this? The answer was no. All right. So when it was deemed that they said that, in order for them, and then we're going to fast forward here. A year and a half later or two, they get this opportunity to bring all this fly ash downriver from Dayton Power and Light to facilities. And, of course, they want to see if they can get approval to do that. So they approached IDEM, and there were 3 different hurdles they had to jump. 2 of the hurdles they jumped right away. Technical piece and good character, I think is what they call it. The third is needs. IDEM at that point, as of last Thursday, had not approved their permit modification because they were waiting on additional information from the cleanup company. But they had received that. But I'm telling you, somebody with higher power had us schedule that meeting Thursday. I firmly believe that, and I told the lady that because we had no other reason to be there. Okay, and they were considering making this decision on Friday. Okay, so I don't take that lightly either. Everything happens for a reason. That's the way I believe and I live. But anyway. So anyway, we had the conversation at this point, as of 4 o'clock this afternoon when we last talked to IDEM. There's been no decision. They took all of our concerns that we voiced to them verbally, but one other thing they've asked us to do is to put that in writing. So we're going to do that first thing tomorrow morning and send it off to them. Folks, I mean, I know there's a lot of chatter out on Facebook, and people get really, really way too far out there. Okay, they try to go way too quick, and that's what I'm trying to head off. And I think that's our job as public officials up here to do that because, listen, we have as much of a vested interest as anybody in this, and so we are 100% going to do the right thing. And the right thing thus far is for us to voice our concerns, which we have, and then it's IDEM's decision. They either approve the modification for the cleanup company or they don't. If they do or they don't, there's then a 15-day period where you can request an appeal and public hearing. All right? And if it so happens that it doesn't go our direction, we will do that very thing. And after that, I don't know where it goes, but we will do that too. Okay? You have the commitment of these folks up here that we are going to do everything we possibly can to make sure that we fill those holes with hopefully clean dirt. Okay? We offered that up to IDEM the other day when we were up there. We said, we got plenty of dirt in this area. I mean, we got dirt right across the street from this area. And we would love nothing better to use local folks and local dirt. Now, with that said, so everybody clear on our opinion of this? I mean, we're on the same team here. Everybody, I hope everybody knows that, because there's been some very, very misconstrued messages on Facebook that I took offense to, quite honestly. And I usually, and Pam, you know, I usually don't respond on Facebook because I want people to come to my office and talk to me about things face to face. Because people, you can misread things when it's written, right? I can read it one way, you're going to read it another way, whatever. But this one got my goat. And I mean, it just did. I don't like to be accused of things that that I know I would never do, or anybody sitting up here would do. But anyway, just so everybody knows, we're on the same page. From here, I mean, we got to just give IDEM their opportunity to respond. We have no timing on that. We don't know if it'll be tomorrow afternoon or a month from now. We don't know. Once we do, everybody else will know. That's for sure. And we will then take the necessary steps that we need to if we happen to not be on the right side of this. I feel pretty confident. Okay? Like I said, we got plenty of dirt right here that we can fill these holes with. We don't need to be bringing fly ash in, especially 10 to 12 barges or 10 to 15 barges a week from a neighboring state. That's our stance on this, and we're going to stick by it. Now, let me say this hypothetically. Hypothetically, we take this all the way to the top people we can, the governor, whatever, and we get turned down, and they're allowed to do this. Rest assured, IDEM, the EPA, they have their pulses on what's going on over there. Okay, this is an approved landfill. That's the only thing we're talking about right now. The ash ponds will be filled as well. I'm hoping that they fill all the ash ponds with clean dirt and we have no problems. Okay? Everybody knows there's already fly ash over there, right? Been there for years. Going to stay there. We'll still be monitoring groundwater. There's always that what-if scenario. And you never can solve all issues with one thing. So, with that said, I really, unless you have something that you want to say that I haven't covered, or you're adamantly for this to happen, I would love for you to come to the podium and talk about it.
Hey there.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
just really have a couple questions. I like everything that you just said. I think that's really encouraging for all of us in the room that are concerned about this. But my name is Shara Schweitzer, and I grew up in Ohio County, and I'm a resident of Dearborn County right now, and really just have a couple questions. One, and this may be a rumor, but we had heard that this is an open-ended permit, so this wouldn't only be fill for the port, but they would be able to barge the stuff in indefinitely.
I have not heard that.
Okay. That was one thing I wanted to ask.
We have not heard that.
Okay.
We have not read that.
All right. And then my other big question, because you answered a lot of my questions.
Thank goodness.
With your presentation, which is great. My other big question is the EPA, if I understand this right, I believe the EPA does not require power plants that aren't active to have lined ponds. Are these going to be all lined? Are they currently lined? That's, I think, what we're mostly concerned about is the probable health risk. We already know there's fly ash over there. Obviously, everybody here in the room is concerned about fly ash coming in from other power plants. We already have our own to deal with. But how will those be regulated? Are they lined now? And if they extend into new ponds in the 700 acres that's back there, will they be lined? Because I don't think that it's an EPA requirement if it's a power plant that is no longer active.
There are no new ponds to be developed, is what I don't believe that's happening.